Charles Tilly's Social Movements and Introduction serves as an essential primer for understanding the concept of social movements, their historical development, and the mechanisms that drive them. Co-authored with Leslie J. Wood in its later editions, the book provides a systematic and detailed analysis of social movements, presenting a comprehensive framework for studying their origins, evolution, and outcomes. With its accessible language and structured approach, it is a valuable resource for students, scholars, and anyone interested in political sociology, social activism, and the dynamics of collective action. Historical context of social movements. Tilly situates social movements as a distinctly modern phenomenon that emerged in the context of democratization and the rise of nation-states. According to him, the three defining elements of social movements, campaigns, repertoires of contention, and displays of UNC, worthiness, unity, numbers, and commitment, became prominent in the late 18th century. These elements distinguish modern social movements from earlier forms of collective action, such as riots, uprisings, and feudal revolts. The book highlights key historical events like the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and the British abolitionist movement as early examples of social movements. These movements were facilitated by advancements in communication technologies, urbanization, and the spread of ideas like liberty and equality. Tilly emphasizes that the combination of democratic institutions and public political engagement created fertile ground for social movements to flourish. Core concepts and framework. One of the central contributions of the book is its clear articulation of the key components of social movements. Tilly defines social movements as a sustained, organized public effort, making collective claims on target authorities. This definition underscores the importance of organized action, public visibility, and the articulation of demands. Campaigns. Campaigns are the organized efforts of social movements to achieve specific goals. These campaigns typically involve clear targets, whether governmental authorities, corporations, or other institutions, and aim to bring about change through public pressure. Campaigns can vary in scope and intensity, but they are always intentional and directed. Repertoires of contention. Repertoires of contention refer to the set of tactics and strategies used by social movements to advance their goals. These include demonstrations, strikes, sit-ins, petitions, and boycotts. Tilly argues that repertoires evolve over time, influenced by historical and cultural contexts. For instance, while pamphleteering and public assemblies were common in the 18th century, contemporary movements might rely on digital activism and social media. One displays, standing for worthiness, unity, numbers, and commitment, is a crucial concept in the book. Social movements must demonstrate these attributes to gain legitimacy and attract support. Worthiness is often signaled through orderly behavior and respectable appearance. Unity is conveyed through cohesive messaging and group solidarity. Numbers indicate the scale of support, while commitment is demonstrated through sustained participation and sacrifice. Mechanisms and processes. Tilly delves into the mechanisms and processes that drive social movements. He identifies several key factors that influence the emergence and success of movements. 1. Political opportunity structures. The concept of political opportunity structures highlights the importance of external conditions in shaping the prospects of social movements. When political systems are open to influence, movements are more likely to emerge and succeed. Conversely, repressive regimes may stifle activism, though they can also provoke resistance. 2. Mobilizing structures. Mobilizing structures refer to the organizational frameworks that enable collective action. These include formal organizations like unions and NGOs, as well as informal networks such as religious groups and online communities. Effective mobilizing structures are essential for recruiting participants, coordinating activities, and sustaining momentum. Number 3. Tilly emphasizes the role of framing in shaping public perceptions of social movements. Framing involves constructing narratives that define problems, assign blame, and propose solutions. Successful movements create frames that resonate with broader societal values, thereby attracting support and legitimizing their cause. 4. Resource mobilization. The availability of resources, financial, human, and informational, is another critical factor in the success of social movements. Resource mobilization theory, which Tilly engages with, argues that well-resourced movements are more likely to achieve their goals. Typologies of social movements. Tilly categorizes social movements into different types based on their goals, tactics, and relationships with authorities. Some of these categories include reform movements, aim to bring about specific changes within existing systems. Examples include civil rights and environmental movements. Revolutionary movements seek to overthrow existing systems and establish new political orders. Historical examples include the Bolshevik Revolution and anti-colonial struggles. Resistance movements focus on opposing policies or actions perceived as harmful, such as anti-globalization or anti-war movements. Identity movements center around the recognition and empowerment of marginalized groups, such as LGBTQ+ and feminist movements. The role of technology. Tilly acknowledges the transformative impact of technology on social movements. From the printing press to the internet, advancements in communication technologies have significantly altered how movements organize, communicate, and mobilize. In the digital age, platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram have enabled rapid dissemination of information, global solidarity, and decentralized leadership structures. However, Tilly also notes the potential drawbacks such as surveillance, misinformation, and the ephemeral nature of online activism. Challenges and critiques. Tilly does not shy away from addressing the challenges faced by social movements. These include internal divisions, resource constraints, and backlash from authorities or counter-movements. He also discusses the unintended consequences of social movements, such as co-optation, fragmentation, or the rise of opposing forces. Critics of Tilly's work argue that his focus on structure and processes sometimes downplays the agency of individuals and the emotional dimensions of activism. Others point out that his framework, while robust, may not fully account for the diversity of movements in non-Western contexts or those that do not align neatly with the campaign repertoire model. Legacy and relevance. Social Movements and Introduction remains a seminal text in the study of collective action. Tilly's analytical framework has influenced a generation of scholars and practitioners, providing tools for understanding both historical and contemporary movements. The book's emphasis on the interplay between structure and agency, its clear articulation of concepts, and its empirical grounding make it a timeless resource. In today's world, marked by global protests, environmental crises, and digital activism, Tilly's insights are more relevant than ever. Movements like Black Lives Matter, Fridays for Future, and #MeToo exemplify the dynamics he describes, from their use of repertoires of contention to their reliance on technology and framing.